Hi guys, I am TheOneWithBear. Today I'm here to give you 5 tips on how to work from home. If I'm an expert in anything, I'm probably an expert in this, since I have more than 10 years of experience in working from home. My introversion and unwillingness to socialize finally has some use to the society. Now, studies and experts will tell you that it's not recommended to have your work, your sleep, and entertainment all in the same space. But now that a lot of us, and by us, I mean excluding me because I did choose this, a lot of us are being forced to stay home and we may not have that space. So tip number 1, for those who do have the luxury of space in your home, the first tip would be to separate all of these environments. If you sleep in the room, you just sleep in the room. If you want to play games, if you want to watch TV, you have a dedicated space for that as well. And then your office environment, just exclude that area for just working. So when you're in that environment, you work. And when you leave that environment, you do other stuff. And tip 1.5 is for those who don't have the luxury of space, such as me. My bed is over there, my workspace is over there and there, my entertainment, my gaming system is there, my manga is there. I'm surrounded by temptation. And if you're like me who has to do everything in the same room, then my first advice to you, as odd as it sounds, is to make your bed. A clean bed in your room has a repelling property of
"Don't touch me until you're done with your..."
And whether or not you have the room to separate all of the environments, make sure that your work environment is tidy and also welcoming for you to work in. For example, I have this thing to decorate my table. This is slime from Dragon Quest, and every time I see it smile, I smile. This thing is a huge motivator for me. The second tip is sticky notes. Now, you may already use sticky notes at your workplace, but sticky notes is actually even more prominent when you're working from home because they serve as a direct reminder of even though you're at home, you still need to do this stuff. Third tip is to design a timetable. Your timetable can be as detailed as to when do you wake up, when do you eat your breakfast, when do you work, when do you eat lunch, when do you work again, and what time do you get off work. Remember to schedule breaks for yourself and set the alarms to remind you to start and to stop. The reason why breaks are so important is because if you don't schedule breaks, then you go into procrastination, and then the procrastination can expand into the entire day of unproductivity. Fourth tip is stimulation. I know that sounds really odd, but stimulation is actually very important when you're working from home to drive you and also to put you in the zone. Everybody's preference on stimulation is very different. It can go anywhere from music to podcast to live streaming or to TV shows. Basically, it is something that will inspire you and not make you feel isolated, but at the same time, it's not exciting enough that will distract you from your current task. For example, I really love Critical Role or other Dungeons & Dragons campaign on YouTube because they allow their imaginative world to come through their voices. And without the heavy visual distraction from my work, I can actually listen to them and just be inspired by their creativity when I'm working on my craft. And the fifth tip is a little challenging, but the most important. It is to be cautious of what removes your motivation. What are your distractions? Is it your phone? Is it your pet? Is it the bed? Sometimes, yeah. Once you identify these sources, try to limit your access to them. Put your phone in another room. I'm serious. In you go. Or put a stack of books on your bed so you can access it easily anyway.
Well, I'm too lazy to lie down now.
And either let your pet outside of the room or let it into the room to sit on you so you don't have to keep on going to answer a door when it's scratching the door and trying to come in. So there's all the tips that I have for you. So here's the hidden 6th device. Because do I follow my own advice? No. This is how I live. Chaos. I most certainly don't follow a time schedule. I wake up whenever I want. I go to bed whenever I want. Sometimes I go to bed at like 3 a.m. and I wake up at 12. And then sometimes something happens unexpectedly and I just immediately have to take care of that. So all of my plans go poof. So I have no plans. I do have tasks that I have to finish each day. Some days I work a very long hours. Some days I work 2 hours and the rest of the day I just play games. I don't have a scheduled Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday off. But this may not be for you at all. Maybe you need a structured time. Maybe you really need that discipline. But for me, structured time makes things very boring for me, and I lose motivation when I feel bored. So my last advice to you is to understand yourself. Just because everybody tells you you have to have a structured time doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. Just because the chaotic schedule works for me doesn't mean it will work for you. Tips are not rules. They still have to be altered to personal traits. And that is all the advice I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is a difficult time for a lot of people, so be kind and stay healthy. Until next time.